Welcome everybody. My name's Nic van Diemen. I'm here with the team from Premier Pavers. We've got Ted, Grace, Andrea and Pam, so feel free to ask them any questions that you want to later on. We're discussing probably the most advanced and impressive permeable paver that has occurred since that system actually was invented. Permeable paving's been around since about 1986, 87. It's very big in the UK, United States, Europe, and in particularly Germany. When I studied permeable paving in 2006 in Germany, they were doing 20 million square metres of permeable paving a year. So that's a well-accepted practice. So permeable paving is actually nothing new. What has actually changed now is that we've got a brand new ceramic permeable paver. And you can see what happens with this permeable paver. Rather than the water going through the joints, it goes through the body of the paver. And that gives us all sorts of opportunities. So how does it work? Okay, permeable paving is just a system of paving where the water runs through the actual paver into the base and back into the subgrade. It can be done using clay, concrete, stone. Most materials are suitable. Why is it necessary? If we look at development, there is, in a rural situation, about 95% infiltration. In an urban situation, you get about 5% infiltration. That's a huge difference. So how do we counter that? Well, we counter that by using systems that will actually allow the water to get back to the subgrade. Sustainable urban drainage has been something that has been part of all local government all over the world for many, many, many years. And permeable paving is a huge part of sustainable urban drainage system. This is probably the most important slide that we have, because what this is going to demonstrate is the ability of this paver not only to let the water soak through it, its permeability rating, but also how much water this paver can actually absorb. What I'm going to get Andrea to do is I'm going to do a little demonstration. She's going to apply the equivalent of approximately 20 millimetres of rain onto this small area of paving. She'll apply 5 litres. We've put 5 litres into our spray unit, but once it starts, it'll take about 4 or 5 minutes for that water to go through the paver. And what we'll demonstrate later on is how much water actually goes through and how much water the paver actually retains. And that has massive benefits to the environment. So the permeable paver that we have, the Premier Hydropaver, has a permeability of 50 litres a minute. So you can chuck 50 litres of water onto this paving, it'll just disappear. But not only that, the first 5 millimetres of rain that falls, it can be in an hour, it can be over any period, is actually absorbed by the paver. So it never gets into the ground. And what happens with that first 5 millimetres is that it evaporates back into the atmosphere. And that has all sorts of benefits environmentally. We have a thing called the urban heat island, and that'll come up later on. But an urban heat island is something that occurs in most large cities. It is a situation where you've got lots of buildings, lots of people, and the ambient temperature can be increased by up to 3-4 degrees centigrade, Celsius, sorry. So what that means is that the water that is stored in the paver evaporates and has a cooling effect on the environment. And that has not only does it have environmental benefits, but it has huge health benefits, and as done in an American study, it also has economic benefits. So it's not just environment that we're talking about. Okay, how does it work? Simply, you have the infiltration, you do infiltration tests on the actual soil. You need to determine how much water your soil will actually take. Once you've done those tests, the water it goes through the paver into the base material and then into the actual subgrade. 3 systems, fairly straightforward. First system, total infiltration. Okay, total infiltration. System B, you'll get infiltration, but you have a pipe at the formation level which takes any excess water away in case of a freak storm, or if your soil infiltration rates are not good enough. And system C is total water harvesting. You catch the water, you store it there, and you use it later on. From an installation point of view, this paving is no different than any other flexible paving that every one of you guys has laid. You don't need any different equipment, you don't need any different tools. It's a flexible pavement. The only difference is that the material that you're using, the crushed rock or the base rock, and the bedding material has no fines in it. So it's like one big drainage system. The water just goes straight through. Okay, let's look at some of the benefits of the actual paver itself. We'll discuss the actual paving system. What we want to discuss now is the actual paver. With these pavers, they actually look great. They're attractive. They come in a range of sizes and a range of colours. These are the basic sizes that are available at the moment. Large format is available on order. So they can be, at the moment, I think that the largest size that are available is 300 by 450, but we can look at larger sizes if the demand's there. Traditional permeable paving, this is the sort of thing that we were looking at. Relatively unattractive pavers, fairly difficult to walk on because of the voids that are there. So from that we go to what we have here, an attractive, colourful, versatile paver. You can use them for veneering, you can use them in steps. There's colour range, a size range, you can put together all sorts of patterns so it looks like a real paving system. Manufacturing, they're a ceramic product. So they're actually a reconstituted tile material. They mix in a material called bentonite, which is a very fine clay material, and then they're baked at 1200 degrees Celsius. You can see that they're compressed at 1600 tonnes. So they're a very, very strong product. Okay, let's look at the advantages of using ceramic pavers. We're using the 300 by 300 as an example, and we've got some of them on show there. They have a 20 kilonewtons braking load. That's twice as much as any commercial paver requirement is. So they're really strong. And when you look at flexible paving, braking load is probably the most important requirement. They're non-slip. They have a really good British pendulum number, so they're a really good non-slip. They're strong. The water goes through them at an unbelievable rate. There is no rain event in Melbourne that has occurred in the last 100 years that these pavers could not handle. They don't need sealing, and they're colour fast. The colour is actually sprayed onto the paver before they are fired, a very similar process that they use in brick manufacture. So what happens is the actual colour is fired into the paver, so you're not going to get fading. Also, it's a ceramic product. You're not going to get the top wearing off and have aggregate exposed, which destroys the look of the paver. Okay, benefits from a permeable paving system point of view: reduced and delayed runoff. You don't get any runoff. Okay, they filter contaminants, as we said before. If you can catch the first 20% of the water, you get rid of 80% of the contaminants. That gets rid of a lot of the organophosphates, organochlorines, heavy metals that drop on our paving all the time. And obviously the reduced drainage infrastructure, you have a huge saving on drainage infrastructure because you don't need any. It all just goes back into the soil. If we look at the rainfall records from 2014, we had 480 millimetres of rain in 214. Using this system, 2/3 of that would have been evaporated into the air. The other third would have gone back into the subgrade. So the water just is returned to the environment. Okay, the advantage from a paver point of view, okay, there's obviously increased efficiency from water management. They're actually noise reducing because they're a fairly porous product. The noise is actually absorbed by the paver rather than bouncing off the paver. And that's a proven fact. It mitigates urban heat island, as I said before. That's a huge benefit. They reduce the cost of installing drainage, we've covered that. Satisfy council approval for prerequisites for permeability and water conservation. They don't require sealing because they're a clay product. You don't need to seal them. The colour stays in them. It's a flexible pavement, so you can reuse the pavement. They're easy to replace. If the area gets damaged, you just pop a few more in and you have the same effect again. You don't have to pull out a slab. They're not going to look any different. Easy to maintain. I know a lot of people will find this difficult to believe, but they do not clog up. Traditional permeable paving, because the water runs through the joints, the settlement goes with the water, the joints will clog and the pavement becomes inefficient. What happens here, the water runs through the actual paver and it will only go through the paver in a soluble form. Any debris that occurs on the paving, once you clean that off, the water will just continue to go straight through because it acts like a sponge. And it's cost effective with other alternative materials. Okay, that's it in conclusion, and I'm happy to take any questions, and the team will be around for anybody who's got any queries whatsoever. They are an incredibly good paver, and certainly the best thing that I've come across in the 10 years or so that I've been taking an interest and involved in permeable paving. And the good thing is they're attractive. You know, they don't look like something different. They look like any normal pavement would look. You've got good colours, you've got good sizes, you can make up different patterns. They work, and they have a great range of colours, a great range of sizes. If we put 5 litres of water on this little area of paving, we will only get 3.5 litres back. There's a litre and a half of water that will be stored inside that 1/4 metre of paving. And that's about 10%. So per square metre of paving, you will get 5 litres of water stored in the paver for every square metre of paving that you put down.